All right, welcome to this video. It is a follow-up to the previous video, and it is just the calculator operations for doing a z-test. The other video program crashed before I could record that part of the video. So here we go. The question is the same as before, and we have male executives. The mean that we're using as the null hypothesis is 128. Standard deviation of the population is 15. Our sample size is 72. Our sample mean is 129.93. And our significance level or alpha level is 5% or 0.05. So we're gonna, instead of going through all these steps here and doing the calculations, we will use the calculator to do the calculation part for us. So you still, even if you're using your calculator, have to do the hypothesis, the conditions, and then the interpretation. But this end part of the calculations, you don't have to do. You don't have to do normal CDF because the calculator will do it for you. All right, so let's bring up our calculator and we'll go to stat and over to tests. And we have z-test or t-test. We're now done with the intervals for right now. And we can select z-test for this one because we know the population standard deviation. Now, if we had data that we could put into a list, then we would go here and we just have to enter the null hypothesis and the standard deviation of the population and the list our data is in. But we have statistics, so we have to enter that and our sample mean and our sample size. Then the one that confuses people sometimes is this bottom one. So it's basically with respect to the null hypothesis, what do we think is happening? So we're going with not equal to, but if we thought that we were less than the null, you just take the less than symbol. If you think you're greater than the null, you just take the greater than symbol. Sometimes students try to flip the inequality, but you don't do that. It's just whatever you think the change is, that's the one you select. And then you can go down and go to calculate. And it gives us our p-value here, which is 0.274933. So that is similar to the calc value that we got from doing the calculation out by hand. You can get a little different answers when you're doing it by hand because of rounding, or if you use the z tables that we haven't been using because we're just going to use our calculator. But the AP will allow for those rounding errors that can happen. All right, one other thing you might have noticed on that screen is, there's a thing called draw, and this will actually draw the normal curve for you. So it shows it right here, and it does the shading. So, and it gives you your p-value, your z-score, and let's see if we can trace. Oh, let's see. Oh, it's because I have a different plot on. But it's nice. I mean, if you're not sure where to shade, it can be helpful. It doesn't really show you a lot, but it's nice to look at. And then I just want to show you the difference with t-test. So with t-test, notice we no longer have to give the standard deviation of the population. You give the standard deviation of your sample, but everything else is the same. All right, I hope this helped with your calculator, and I'll see you in the next video with more hypothesis tests.